the quarterback should be a football player too. Sometimes you gotta, just be a football player and have that mentality. And I think that's one of my strengths. I think that helps with leadership when you can kind of get, not just on the field, but in the weight room too, and be one of the dudes on the team. I think that's a really key aspect. And I think that's one of my strengths and something I play with, just kind of that grit and a chip on my shoulder.
You see guys jumping in the portal every year. What is it about this program that's made you really want to stay here and be a part of what you guys are building?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's an easy question because you guys are sitting right here. I mean, I've grown up a Penn State fan my whole life. I love Penn State. I watched you two growing up. You made me love Penn State. I'm really just, the guys on this team, I'm really close with a lot of guys on this team and Coach Frank and the whole coaching staff. Love Danny O'Brien. And it's something that, I don't think about. I take it one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too far in the future. I don't worry about the past. I try to stay, where my feet are.
What's going on, folks? We are launching the Retain the Roar campaign here at State Media in partnership with Happy Valley United. This is extremely important to me personally and the entire program moving forward. I came to Penn State in some of the darkest times. I deeply care about this university and this football program. That is why I'm done talking. I'm going to lead by example, and I'm working to pull a bunch of other Lettermen together to get behind this campaign. It is integral for us to participate in NIL, and not only participate, but dominate, to match the expectations that we all have for this program. We're in it to win championships, so let's put our money where our mouth is. I'm taking the first step. I hope that you all follow me. Our goal is to raise $500,000 to close this spring transfer portal cycle and ensure that we retain the roar.
College football tees, college basketball tees, whatever you need, Mercury has you covered with the best merch out there. We're talking about high quality clothing, inexpensive, and the best part is I have a 15% discount for everybody who goes and gets some right now. Use the code below, hit the link in the description, and go get your merch now. Use the code to get 15% off. What are you waiting on? Go do it.
What's going on? Back again with Trace. We got our guy, Beau Pribula. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a tongue twister for me. I have problems with words sometimes. Appreciate you taking the time, man. And this is cool, I think, for me and Trace. We got the chance to talk to Drew earlier, and just being able to talk to guys in the room, something we hold near and dear. So appreciate that to start off. Let's reflect a little bit. Last year, your adjustment coming in, getting some reps. How was that? How was the evaluation? How'd you feel coming out of the season, heading into spring ball here?
Yeah, I think it was a great experience getting able to go into some games. Earlier in the season, it was just kind of cleanup work, and then my role progressed throughout the season to be able to get in first, second quarter, actually getting some meaningful playing time and run some meaningful plays in big games like the Peach Bowl. And I was really fortunate to get experiences like that. Coach Franklin did a great job. And heading into next season, I think it helps a lot.
Yeah. Kind of go back to last year. At some point, we've all been that guy that's had the headset on, but, at any point, you need to be ready to go in. So I just want to ask you, what's your mentality at that point in the game? You hear the headset, take us through your thought process. As you hear the call, what are you doing on each play, and how are you conducting yourself in a game day situation like that?
Yeah, being ready to go at all times is something that is tough at times, but it's a necessity. You got to be ready to go whenever your number's called. And I think just staying ready, literally warming up every chance that I can get, keeping the arm loose, keep my helmet strapped up all the time, because, it's we'll be in a drive and Danny O'Brien will be like, go, you're in right now. And so you just got to be ready and stay warm the whole time. And, the preparation, makes everything like that easier once you're on the field. But just physically keeping the body ready and warm is something that's tough at times, especially when it's cold. But
I feel like that, and keeping your body warm, but then keeping that emotional edge, right up at that line where you need to be ready to go at a moment's notice, but not making yourself crazy sitting there the entire time.
Yeah,
no doubt. And I think, Trace, I think you could attest to this. The quarterback room is a sanctuary. I think a lot of people have tried to talk about it. Talk a little bit about your relationship with Drew, and talk a little bit about how that ebb and flow, you're getting some burn. There's some things specifically detailed out within the offense for your skill set. Drew, obviously, having to kind of brunt the shoulder of the work with that. But it's just such a unique dynamic, and it's so cool, at least for me watching, how on the outside you guys project your relationship and working relationship in that manner. Talk a little bit about that, because I think the mental side of that's very unique, and it's oftentimes very relationship based.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a tight-knit quarterback room, especially, an arm is a little unique because at times we're on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
So we got to have a good connection. And as far as, preparing for games and stuff like that, we room together before games in the hotel. We're bouncing ideas off of each other and just talking about certain things that, other people on the team, they don't talk about that stuff because it's quarterback stuff. It's one guy. So, just having a good relationship is always good in the quarterback room.
So coming into this spring, you touched on what you experienced last year. What were the things, like if you had 2 or 3 bullet points that you were really trying to focus on this spring, what were those things?
I think really just, first of all, new offense coordinator, new quarterback coach. I think just getting a good relationship with him, understanding the new offense. And really that kind of turned into my goals that ended up working out this spring were just being extremely comfortable and stepping into a leadership role. This spring has been really good. I think I'm playing my best football right now. And I think that comes from a confidence and a comfort with this team. And I think it's just been really good this spring. Just, working with Coach K, I think his offensive scheme fits me really well too. I think that's where the comfort comes from. But just being comfortable and confident with the offense.
I've said this a lot. You remind me a lot, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself with this guy. What do you think your strengths are? Like I said, it's obviously a very tough dynamic, and like we all get it, we've all been there. What do you think your strengths are, and how do you leverage those within the locker room to step into those leadership roles that you talked about? Because again, there is that balance and dynamic where you have your quarterback, but you're also a guy who's make plays and step right in and be ready to go, and you've obviously shown that to be where you are right now.
Yeah, I think my strengths are, they stem from my athleticism, and I think anytime that, I really pride myself on, a lot of people, they think of quarterbacks just being a quarterback, but I think the quarterback should be a football player too. Sometimes you gotta, just be a football player and have that mentality, and I think that's one of my strengths. I think that helps with leadership. When you can kind of get, not just on the field, but in the weight room too, and be one of the dudes on the team, I think that's a really key aspect. I think that's one of my strengths and something I play with, just kind of that grit and a chip on my shoulder.
And this segment's brought to you by Family Clothesline. They kept us looking sharp all weekend. I'm currently wearing one of the Lulu Polos. It's a Family Clothesline exclusive. Make sure you guys check out Family Clothesline for all of your Penn State apparel needs.
So one thing, I actually asked this to Nick Dawkins earlier, but definitely portrays to you as well. What is it about the Penn State football team, program, this university that has made you want to stay here and work your way up and stick with it when with the whole transfer portal, NIL and stuff, you see guys jumping in the portal every year? What is it about this program that's made you really want to stay here and be a part of what you guys are building?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's an easy question because you guys are sitting right here. I mean, I've grown up a Penn State fan my whole life. I love Penn State. I watched you two growing up. You made me love Penn State. I'm really just, the guys on this team, I'm really close with a lot of guys on this team and Coach Frank and the whole coaching staff. Love Danny O'Brien. And it's something that, I don't think about. I take it one day at a time. Mm-hmm. I'm not too far in the future. I don't worry about the past. I try to stay, where my feet are.
I love that. And yeah, you touched on it, hometown kid. That's got to be super cool and something that I take a lot of pride in my experience here. It's funny, we're old heads now, but when I was here and talking to older guys, like there seems to be a theme with the foundation in terms of the character of guys in that locker room. So if I was to ask you this question, I'm very curious to what is a Penn State football player to you?
That's a good question. I think a Penn State football player, I think it goes back to the identity of Penn State football players since the beginning. I think it's just a blue-collar, hard-nosed dude, and someone that takes a lot of pride in the tradition, and they're always willing to go to war with their brothers next to them.
So you just talked about you like to be where your feet are. I'm gonna make you go a little farther in the future here. What's one thing just give me one word that if you could describe what this offense could be, what your goal is for this next season with this offense?
It's good. I'd say explosive, and I want to say unpredictable. Not really unpredictable, But I think there's, as everybody will get to see this fall, I think there's a lot of different things we can do to get to certain plays in terms of formations and shifts and motions. There's a lot of really cool and unique things that Coach K brings to the table. And I think that can open a lot of stuff up because the defense will always be on their toes. We're trying to be a proactive offense, not a reactive offense. And every time you can do that, I think it's important, to always have the defense, on their toes.
That's great. Talk about the pieces with that, right? I asked Drew the same question, the receivers, guys, and I've been adamant about this as we've covered the team all through last year. Like this roster, the amount of depth, the talent that's here, it's the best it's been in years. Talk about those pieces, guys that you're maybe looking forward to step into a role, either who've played one in the past who are maturing through that, or maybe somebody that you're looking to step into a bigger role this year.
I think as far as the pieces go, it all starts up front. And I think we have great leadership. The best I've seen in the offensive line room since I've been here. It starts with Nick Dawkins up front. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for this offensive line because we have depth too. We have younger guys. Cooper Cousins is still a high school student, and he's super impressive. And then obviously our talented tight end room, Tyler Warren, is going to be a stud. That's my boy. And then I'm excited, obviously, the two running backs and the younger guys as well. But I think I'm really excited about this wide receivers room. They've been through a lot, and they've stepped up to the challenge this spring. I see a lot of leadership coming out of that room, and I kind of see a swagger out of that room too. They really want to make a difference this year, and they've been, not just being efficient this spring and making plays, but they've also just, made really good catches and got separation this spring, and they've done a really good job so far. So I'm excited for this entire offense.
So you talk about the explosion and having that swag too. I remember when Coach Moorhead got here, we didn't have that quite yet. And we had a play in spring ball where I threw it past to Chris Godwin. He went and scored, and, slap a couple high fives, run back, and he stopped it and said, "Hey, boys, when we score, we're going to celebrate. We're going to have fun." And that kind of evolved into how you kind of saw I made that old touchdown celebration, the bat swing and all that. I was like, all right, you give me the green light, I'm going to go. So, who are those guys that are bringing that swag to you guys on the offensive side of the ball? Or defensive side even, because you go against them every day. But they like to talk all the time, so they probably don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Swag. I think I've had a pretty good connection with two guys this spring, two receivers. I think Amari Evans and Caden Saunders. Amari always loves to – he had a problem earlier in the spring where he makes a big play and boom, he's flexing first downs and stuff like that. He's got a little swag to him, but sometimes we got to calm it down just a little bit. But no, I mean, those two guys have been doing really good, and they bring some swag from the receivers room for sure.
Good.
That's great, man. All right. Listen, how excited are you about Saturday? I think we all can talk about it. Spring ball is a grind. Obviously, the season's the focus. This is a step within the process, but it's going to be a great opportunity for you to go out and operate in a new environment or a new system. Familiar environment. How excited are you about Saturday?
I'm really excited. Anytime, you get to play in Beaver Stadium in front of people is obviously exciting, number one. But number two, it's been a really good spring overall. And I'm just excited to, kind of might be a little bland on Saturday from what we've been running so far this spring, but I'm excited to,
Yeah, you can't show all your cards.
No, we're not going to show too much. But I'm excited to kind of, give this offense a little bit of a preview for everybody.
Go out there, be efficient, keep it pushing.
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Well, you got anything else?
No, you got everything for me.
Sweet. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man.